Same crier. I substitute this morning. Yay! Elizabeth is 30 seconds prep for this. We got a packed agenda today. We had an election last week, so we got a lot of stuff to go through. I'm the vice chair of the board. A little board update. We had a board meeting last week. Looked at the financial stability of the alliance. Voted to officially become a 501c3, which is going to give us some versatility in what we're trying to do. Filed our 990s, and we're in good shape. So that was great. As we typically do here, we'd like to see if there's anybody new, first time coming to this meeting. So are there any new folks in here? If you can stand up and say who you are and what you do.
My name's Tim Iono. I own Mountain Goat Mortgage, which lives in the kitchen over there. So it's kind of weird that I've never wandered over here for this meeting.
Welcome.
Good morning, I'm Justin Bollenbach. I'm the new CFO at Mercy Hospital.
Justin.
Casey Lynch, I'm a retired CPA here in Durango and came to see what's going on.
All right. Oh, and Mountain Waters.
And Mountain
Waters.
So I'm Jamie Matthews of Jamie Matthews CPA, and we are the new bookkeeping team for the Alliance.
I'm Debbie Smith.
Nice to meet you guys.
Okay. Anyone else?
This is my second time, but it's been a bit. I'm Rachel Rosenbaum, the grants manager for the Community Foundation. So I'll recognize a lot of faces in here.
Great, thanks for being here. And we're happy to all have you here. Thanks to Desert Sun for the coffee. And we'll get rolling. We got lots of things to cover. So
Yeah. Jessica?
I'm here. Hi, I'm going to start off by saying we're seeking applicants for the Affordable Housing Planning Focus Group. So if that's something you guys are interested in and want to be on, go ahead and go on to engagedurango.com. We're in the middle of budget season. We had our first public hearing last Tuesday on the 18th. It'll move forward until hopefully final approval in December. If you have any comments on the city budget and you want to advocate for something that needs funding, doesn't need funding, we should focus on, that sort of thing, come to the city council meeting on the 18th and speak during public comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the city budget and how we're moving forward. But we are also moving forward. We're looking at a speed limit for the river trail and setting that into place. There will be some potential public engagement moving forward on that. So keep your eye out for that, especially if you use the river trail for commuting into town and such. We're getting ready to launch into the holiday season. We love that here in Durango, especially after the heavy month that we've had in the last month. The city council's been kind of dealing with. On that note too, we did approve a task force for our immigration community and hopefully helping efforts there. So if you are interested in being a part of that task force or hearing more, it's the ccrc@durangoco.gov. Go ahead and shoot them an email and just talk about your interest in maybe either being a part of that task force or keeping up on what's going on. We're hoping they get started rather quickly and start giving us recommendations on things we can do as a city in order to combat some of the things that are going on. So some quick updates there.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
And we forgot to update your last name. It's now Lloyd.
Oh, it is now. Yeah, it's fine. Either one.
Mark Ray couldn't be here this morning, so Mark Garcia is going to be zooming in to give us an update for Ignacio.
Good morning, everyone. As was mentioned, Mayor Craig is off. He's traveling in the Northwest visiting family, so I'm giving the report and I'm on the road today as well. So sorry. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So beautiful weather we've been having, and we've been trying to take advantage of the nice weather on our Rock Creek housing project. We lost about a week with the storm deluge that we had. The site was totally swamped out, and so we're trying to regain some lost time on our phase 2 Rock Creek project. There's 11 new homes going in there. The school district, Ignacio School District, bought the first 4, so we're trying to focus energy on those so we can finish those and they can get their employees into that housing. We have 7 more for sale. 6 of them have Prop 123 funds on them. We have a great team. Dee Dee Johnson from R1 is our representing Realtor, and Homes Fund is helping us with pre-qualification requirements and down payment assistance. So if you have any interested home buyers, send them our way. We'd be happy to discuss the project with them and see if we have a home for them. In phase 1, there were 10 homes and we have closed on 9. We have one more home for sale there as well. And would like to finish that project out by the end of the year with a new homeowner in there. We're going to celebrate this project on Thursday, this Thursday, November 13th. You're welcome to come out and join us at 1:15, and we have a number of mentors and others that are going to join us out there. It's an exciting celebration. It's been years in the works, and we're pretty excited with where we're at this point. We did a fly-through model when we were going out through grant funding, which I think Mayor Craig played for you guys, had a Rockies song in there. And we're going to replay that with the live show with the homes and people on their porch. So we're pretty excited to complete phase 1 and celebrate our work there. Other stuff in Ignacio, the town board identified 2 applicants to replace me in interviews that will happen in early December. I'm slowly working myself out of a job there and closer to having more time to ride my bike and travel. So we're excited to see if we have a viable candidate to fill that position. We're in the middle of budget season. Things are going well. We'll wrap the budget up here by the end of the year. And a lot of other construction and projects that we've been working on our utility side, that's ongoing. So I think that's all I have for Ignacio. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Mark. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing? Big week in the county. So I have 3 main issues for you today. For those who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Philbrick. I'm one of your county commissioners. We're going to start with a really simple one, not a simple one for Central, about 400 people. Lake Vallecito, as you know, the whole region has been flooded very heavily. Vallecito Creek went from 100 CFS, which is where it normally lives this time of the year, to 7,000 CFS in a single day. We lost a couple of homes. Not a single person was harmed. One person sort of twisted their knee on their way out of their building, but it happens to all of us sometimes. But I did want to let you guys know that we are switching from the emergency response component, where the county has, we initiated our emergency office operations. All of our GIS people, all of our sheriff's folks, and this, that, and the other thing. Several hundred people have been involved with the Vallecito recovery efforts, and we're now switching into long-term recovery up there. So there is for anyone that you know that may live up there, or if you live up there yourself, the county is hosting weekly meetings at Women's Grill every single Wednesday evening until the long-term recovery has sort of wrapped up. We do really much appreciate our nonprofit organizations that have come in and assisted with us. Some people may not know that those organizations come in at the request of the community. So when the county declared an emergency site up there, that's what set up the red flag for all of those people to come on down. They're mostly trickling back out right now, but the long-term recovery is now started. The county has issued a $100,000 recovery effort in order predominantly to remove rubbish and to replenish firewood for people. Most homes up there are heated with wood. If you have any questions about the Vallecito, you can reach out directly to me. Second, thank you all. We passed 1A, which means fund our government at its base level. The nice thing is, we immediately replenished the road and bridge funding. We immediately replenished the sheriff's office funding. But what we have decided to do, because the county has done a significant amount of work in order to innovate across multiple departments, we have consolidated some positions. We have streamlined some efforts. This, that, and the other thing. Just because we are funded does not mean that we are going to go back to doing things the way that we have always done them. We are pushing forward with a significant amount of innovation, and in order to make this process as public as possible, we have put almost all of the money that 1A will be delivering to the county into what's called a contingency fund. That contingency fund means that any major funds that come out of it have to go through a public process that sits in front of the county commissioners, meaning everything is recorded for you to be able to hear. PSAs, including the Alliance, places like this, that money has been replenished slightly more than it was last year. We will be hiring, once again, a third party to administer the application process for that. I know, Sarah, you had asked me about that. Normally what happens is that application process begins in June and we issue checks in March. However, we are likely going to be issuing that, so look out for it in January this year is what I'm trying to say. We can't do it right now because again, we're writing our budget for next year, so we can do it first thing next year. So if you know anyone whose PSAs have been cut, know that their applications should be prepped and ready in hopes that in the new year, we will start to go through this process one more time. We are all about transparency and accountability. So if you are concerned at all about our budget, it is actively on our website. All of our budget meetings are public. You can attend pretty much anything that the county does. So we're very excited. Thank you very much. It was a big effort across the county to be able to do that. And we're very excited to do that. The third piece of information I have for you is, for those of you who don't know, I have been a county commissioner for about 4 months. And in that period of time, I have now gotten all of the approvals necessary throughout the county in order to be able to start a code review task force that is specifically set up with our legal department, our planning department, our building department, and myself personally to be able to expedite significant number of code revisions. We're very excited about this. This is not just about the code, but it's also about the processes in which the codes go through and the people that are assisting the customer service of the codes of our county. There's a lot of confusion about what it is that the county is actually in charge of. And I learned about this during the 1A process. We would ask for money and they'd say, well, you're spending it all on roundabouts. And I'm like, that's not me, that's CDOT. And oh, you're spending it all on this. And we say, that rule isn't ours, that's the state's. We're a statutory county, which means the majority of all of the rules that we are in charge and tasked to enforce are written at the state level. There's a lot we cannot control, but our land use code is something we can control. So we're very excited. We have our first official meeting next week. It will be a weekly meeting with expedited processes in order to get this out. It took 4 months to put it together, but from here on out, you guys will see a lot of change very quickly. If you have any interest in code revisions, we do plan to have a public meeting of which exact pieces of the code you're interested in adjusting. But you can also reach out to me in the meantime and send that to me directly in an email. So that's it for the county. Any questions?
What's a PSA?
Public service agencies. So think like Humane Society, the Alliance. It's the good people who do good works on behalf of the government, when in all reality, the government itself, I shouldn't be the one who like hands out better checks to childcare providers, right? But there are organizations that go out of their way to make sure that that happens. And so it's the third parties that help us do the good works of our job.
When is the public meeting for the code revisions?
Oh, so there are public meetings with the Planning Commission for all sorts of code revisions. It's monthly, goes to the Planning Commission. This particular task force is meeting on the 18th, but it's not a public meeting. First and foremost, we're setting the agenda for how quickly we can move things. How can we move processes forward?
I thought you said there was a public meeting.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be dozens of public meetings.
Just 13th for.
Not at the moment. We have to have our kickoff meeting on the 18th first, and then we're planning the agenda after that. Yeah, anybody else?
The website that you mentioned, what was?
The website.
The county website.
Oh yeah, La Plata County
Okay.
website, absolutely. Anything else?
I think it's lbcgov.org.
lbcgov.org, and you can email me directly at ephilbrick@lbcgov.org. Not exactly the straightforward email. Any other questions? All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate you. We can talk first if anybody would.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, hey, everybody, I'm Sarah Tober. I'm the Executive Director of the Plata Economic Development Alliance. We have a few updates for you. You know, the Alliance doesn't like to be up to too much at one time. But kind of under those 3 pillars of our mission, again, our mission is to build business capacity here, to grow those roots, to keep those businesses growing here, to keep industry diversified here. Attainable housing for workforce, as well as our workforce development program, which is Project Run. So some updates today. The La Plata Opportunity Network is something that Louise and I have been working on. It was a program that we had with our organization for many years. We have a movetodurango.com website that was a part of a grant a long time ago. We're resurrecting that whole program and calling it La Plata Opportunity Network. It is going to be a place for jobs, for a job board, for looking for housing. So it's there to help support recruiting and retaining good employees and workforce here in Plata County. So we'll be launching that hopefully in the next month or so, and we'll have that unveiling for everybody. The Child Care Investment Fund, hopefully you all caught the op-ed in the Durango Herald this weekend. We have been doing a lot of work on, not only the plan itself, but now the implementation. Year one starts in 2026, and I've been working with Heather Hawk, the Executive Director of the Early Childhood Council of La Plata County, and we have been trying to gather funds to help galvanize our local funds, public, private, and philanthropic. So the goal is to raise 2.2 million for the first year. We're on our way, and we have had public and philanthropic investment. Our first business commit to it this week, payroll department. We're very excited to have them a part of this group, and we would love to see more businesses investing in this fund. There are tax incentives for it. There are philanthropic and public matches for those dollars, and this is how we're going to really change our child care system. And there's no doubt that this should be state and federally subsidized, but I don't think anybody's coming to save us right now. So the community has to come together around this issue if we want to continue to support young families here. If we want to bring in young families, people have to be able to afford housing and childcare to be here and working. So we're going to continue that work. If you have questions on it, we're going to be putting out a one-pager on what the business investment, what we're looking for from the business community for 2026. So we'll be sending that out here shortly as well. We're doing some work around the air park. So if you have any history you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear it. I know it's nuanced, so but we are doing some feasibility work there. In attainable housing, we closed round 6 of the Catalyst Fund. We have about 650,000 in that fund. We've fundraised 1.2 for that, so you could do the math of what we've deployed so far. But we have this fund has helped about 600 units in the county, either to be built or to be preserved for attainable housing for workforce specifically. So these 2 applications that came in this round 6. We're looking at potentially a deployment of 200,000. So the working group will review those applications, and then the Catalyst Fund Committee will make a decision on that. So we will have an announcement on that in our next meeting. The DOLA Capacity Grant, if you remember, this is something that the town of Ignacio actually led to receive for the region. And this is in partnership with the RHA, and the Alliance has been administering this DOLA Capacity Grant. So it's about 200,000, and what the region is, we've been working specifically with the town of Ignacio, the town of Bayfield, in order to expedite some of their processes around Prop 123, fast tracking housing for workforce. And because we're going to be getting them where they need to be by the end of the year, they will get a $50,000 bonus from the state. We have been working with the county as well. We have a little longer timeline there. It's going to be finished in June, and that is part of some of that policy work that Elizabeth was mentioning as well, fast tracking Prop 2.3. So we are excited to see this benefit our greater community, and we're excited to see that our efforts in attainable housing are paying off in real units, and we're excited about Rock Creek ribbon cutting on Thursday. The RHA is looking for a contract director and a contract accountant for 2026. So they will be posting an RFP hopefully at the end of this week after their board meeting on Thursday. They have in mind a ballot initiative for next year to help fund the RHA and continue their efforts in that manner. So Project Run, workforce development, we have fundamentals of leadership and management and strategy. That is coming up, right? That is not, okay, that's coming up in March. We also have the people classes going on right now. And so we've been having these leadership classes at 3 different locations here in Durango, as well as this last cohort is in Ignacio in Pagosa Springs as well. We've had one in Cortez. So we are taking a regional approach to this. The leadership class has been serving our community well. And then the early childcare director's certification is going to be another microcert that comes out next year in partnership with the Early Childhood Council and Project Run. And again, Project Run is a partnership between Fort Lewis College, Southwest Education Collaborative, which we will hear from today. And we are also working on a water operator certificate on that next year. There is a huge need in this area for rural water operators. So we're going to use this micro certificate grant for industry by industry to help meet those needs. And then of course, our work with Access Healthcare continues with their Opportunity Now grant and creating 2 pathways for them next year, as well as the talent pipeline management. So we have been helping to host healthcare convenings, regional healthcare convenings, and these are important to hear from our industry partners on the needs for healthcare, on the needs for pathways forward. I'm going to introduce Dan Korman, Alpenglow Properties. He's going to give us an update on the real estate.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I work just a block away. I'm a former board member and investment member of the Alliance. So I love coming to these. Used to do a lot more presentation on stats, bored the hell out of the room. So I think right now, instead of running a bunch of numbers at you, we have a lot of great data since the pandemic that I'd like to show you more on a macro scale. So active listings. Inventory has been the name of the game for real estate since the pandemic. If you look at this graph right here, you can see that the active listings in the county were substantially higher in both the city and the county back in 2020. At the end of October, LPC had 255 listings and Durango had, can anybody guess how many?
32.
32, yeah. I was trying to make it small enough so you can see it. But 32 homes is not a lot of houses to sell, okay? And so when we talk about numbers like 18.5% increase year over year, that's a great number, but we're talking about a few houses. So in town, we're having trouble increasing inventory, whereas in the county, you can see the sine curve. Post-pandemic, we are building inventory by adding subdivisions. Month supply. So the month supply is kind of an obscure stat that you don't hear a lot of people talking about, but it actually is quite an indicator about how the health of a market is doing. A balanced market is 6 months supply, and we hit that for the first time since 2020, specifically January of 2020 was the last time we had a balanced market in the county. Okay, so we're still down in the 3-month supply in Durango, but we have a balanced market. So we saw this sine curve raise substantially year over year because of the inventory increase. So days on market are about 74 days in the county, only 47 days in town. So the in-town demand persists. It's just pushing, which we'll talk about pricing and how that's affected. First, homes sold. Again, our sample size is extremely small. In the whole county, just in October, let's see, this is rolling 3 months. So at the end of October, it was 186, relatively flat. So we keep hitting these kind of similar peaks, similar troughs, same in the county, whereas back in October of 2020, so post-pandemic, October 2020, we had the highest level of sales volume in our history, as far as I can tell in the data, but it only goes back to 2009. So that was 127 sold in 1 month. Again, this is 3 months, 186. It's 3 months of data. That's August, September, October. 127 were sold just in October of 2020. So we saw this huge absorption rate back post-pandemic, and we've just been slowly but surely recovering, and now we're starting to stabilize a little bit. And the last thing I'm going to show you, just so I don't bore you too bad, and I can talk about stats very specifically in each market demographic. Again, I didn't want to do that to you today, but if you do want to talk about specific stats in certain areas, we can talk about it. But this one is, that graph goes back the maximum I can. So those were all 5-year graphs. This is a 16-year graph that goes back to 2009. So we were seeing, both in the county and Durango, we're kind of tied together a lot more than they are here. You see this big gap where the county was above and then Durango in town above. These are average sold prices, not median, but average, taking all the numbers, the outliers on both ends, everything averaged together for pricing. We were in this regular like 8 to 10% appreciation in town. That was very steady for a long time. And then post-pandemic, wham! Okay, so right in here is about when things started to normalize, about 22, 23, we started seeing that absorption rate not be quite as able to happen because the inventory disappeared. And so that inventory keeps that pressure on price, and we've still seen quite an increase year over year. So just a couple of stats to wrap up. In March of 2020, right here, the county average price was $540 and it was $583 in Durango. As of October of 2025, we're right above $1 million. Okay. So the only way to fix this, and somebody gets a free pin if they can answer this. The only way to fix this is what?
Supply.
Tim wins.
Density.
You all win. I'll send you all a thing. No, Tim wins. Any questions? Inventory, supply, building homes. Yes.
Yeah, good question. My understanding, there's about 300 units gonna come online in Three Springs in the next 12 months. How's that gonna affect any of this, or is it?
So I apologize. This is all single family data. This does not take into account condos, townhomes, apartment builds, anything like that. This is strictly single family homes. So that is an important factor to these stats, you know, especially when you talk about inventory. As of today, it was 29 houses in town for sale. So Three Springs is taken into this data, but I don't know what they're built. I believe those are townhomes mostly and attached units. And so again, that helps, but those are at $400 a square foot. And so I don't know. It helps that pressure release. Every single house that's added to inventory helps the pressure release, but it's not fast enough. We can't build them fast enough.
We'll just talk afterwards.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Good job, Dan.
This next speaker is Paula Warner of Wolfwood Refuge. We are in November. It is the time of giving. November, December, we want to highlight a couple of nonprofits that are doing important work here that we don't always hear from. Also, we had an incredible tour there this summer with our kids, and so we just wanted to, I wanted you all to hear a little bit about what Paula's doing, because it really is incredible what they're doing. So, Paula, thanks.
Hi, my name is Paula Warner and I'm the founder and director of Wolfwood Refuge. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate Sarah inviting me. Economics is not my field of expertise or my forte. As a matter of fact, my daughter called me and I told her I couldn't talk because I was preparing for this presentation for an Economic Development Alliance, and she said, "How did that happen?" This response. But once I got started looking at it, I realized that I am enthusiastic about the subject, if not quite eloquent. I can talk about wolves in my sleep, but this topic, I have to refer to my notes. You can tell how old I am by my notes. They're on paper, they're not on my phone. So Wolfwood is a state and federally licensed 501c3 refuge, rescue for wolves, wolf dogs. We have coyotes. We don't breed animals, we don't sell animals, it's strictly rescue. Currently, we have 64 animals there. That makes us the largest in the state. I have been rescuing for 30 years. We've been in our current location in La Plata County since 2002, so for 23 years. So we've been here a really long time. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to wolfwoodrefuge.org, or there's some brochures over by the coffee. We're a small woman-founded, woman-led grassroots nonprofit, but I have a lot to say about being in the community. So I want to talk about the impact of small nonprofits on a community. I'm going to refer to my own nonprofit specifically, but I think it applies to a lot of nonprofits across the board. Nonprofits provide obvious direct economic benefits to an area. Wolfwood brings in donations from all over the country. We have a very loyal base of donors, many from out of state, many from the Front Range, and that money gets redistributed here. Because we need goods and services just like everybody else. We help support local jobs, and because of the type of work we do, much of what we need is in the form of welders, mechanics, heavy equipment, products, utilities. The list is really large. And of course, we spend a lot on local vet care. All of these things support other jobs connected to them as well, like vet techs, office personnel, drivers, etc. I am so blessed. I am so fortunate to live in a community where business, nonprofits like the Community Foundation, which supports us and we're part of, and individuals all work together. I don't know if you guys know how rare that is, but it's an amazing thing to be here and be part of that. Small nonprofits are a vital part of the economic web of the area that they are in. Nonprofits can gain local, state, and national attention that sometimes businesses can't. We recently worked on a very large rescue from Ohio. We took 15 animals out of a fur and urine farm. Horrible, horrible place. But we worked with other rescues from international, the International Humane Society, and all across the country. That brought a lot of attention to our county, because it was a national thing. We attract visitors and tourist spending. Documentaries get made, stories get told, reputations get built. We're not quite a destination spot, but many of our visitors are from out of the area. And they spend a lot of money on lodging, restaurants, souvenirs, and other attractions. They return bringing friends and family, sometimes for years. But what I think is even more important are the less obvious indirect benefits. Wolfwood provides education and volunteer opportunities for both residents and visitors. A church from Texas comes every year for a week, bringing 20 people to stay here in the town. They come every year. Telluride Academy comes and stays several weeks in the area. Local businesses do team building and volunteering at Wolfwood. We go to all the libraries and schools in the entire area, all the way from Children's House to, we do a lot with the biology department at Fort Lewis. Our educational programs are extensive and in high demand, and we don't charge for them. I don't believe in limiting anyone's experience or educational opportunities due to their economic situation. So we don't do that. These programs bring together people and kids from all walks of life, fostering an atmosphere of cooperation, compassion, inquisitiveness, hard work, and respect. These are critical skills for economic growth. We foster an appreciation for the community of La Plata County. We have a beautiful piece of property out there. The importance of caring for animals, the outdoors, and our environment. We are utilized by other educational facilities. Just as a small example, we have 2 interns from Big Picture this year. We have 1 intern from Fort Lewis, and we have a woman doing her doctorate research at Wolfwood from CSU. So we're a busy place. Uplifting the educational opportunities for young people can only improve the long-term economic health of an area. My last point before I tell you a story that illustrates much of what I am trying to convey is this. Nonprofits can provide unique opportunities for social and mental well-being. This is critical for economic well-being. Wolfwood brings out the best in people. I save animals, but it is not an exaggeration to say that the animals save people. Being here provides people with a sense of purpose, a non-judgmental connection between varying levels of social skills and abilities. It is a bridge between species. It builds confidence and trust and heals trauma. We generate a strong bond and a common goal, making connections between people that otherwise would never meet. We work with people in court-ordered service. We work with a lot of recovery groups and volunteers of all ages. We have built a community supporting generosity and goodwill. The bottom line is people involved in Wolfwood leave happy, and happy people spend money and are more productive. Small nonprofits, and I believe there's so much, you guys. Small nonprofits can provide hope, a chance to get involved with something outside of yourself, an opportunity to give, feel needed, and to make a difference. And that, as they say, is priceless. In closing, I'd like to read you a letter and then tell you a little story about a little girl, and then I'll close. And I hope this illustrates what I'm trying to say. This is from a young volunteer's college admittance essay. And this is just an excerpt. My decision to volunteer alongside my mom at Wolfwood Refuge was one of profound magnitude, altering the course of my foreseeable future. Volunteering has taught me not only to be selfless, but also how to lead efforts in my community, at the refuge, at school, at home, at lacrosse, and in the gym. I have come to appreciate the importance of leadership and teamwork. The transition from a kid that was dragged to the refuge against his will to the relentless volunteer who seizes every opportunity to help exemplifies the transformative power of these animals. The mature, self-willed, and confident man I am today is a direct result of my unwavering pursuit and commitment to helping. I want to tell you a story. My last story is about a little girl named Lydia. This is Lydia. Lydia comes from Phoenix. Lydia has spent the last 3 birthdays at Wolfwood. Her first birthday when she came, she had a birthday party there, and she donated all of her birthday money. Instead of getting birthday presents, she asked that they be donated to the second year that Lydia came, Lydia sold bracelets for the animals and donated money in that way. This is Lydia's 3rd year. Lydia now has her own nonprofit. She has made fidget things that she sells at her mom's store up north, right? Again, the money trickling down at Ace Hardware. Lydia's goal was to bring a check to Wolfwood for $150. This is Lydia writing her very first business check to Wolfwood, right? Lydia raised $600. I have to give her a tax receipt. Mom told her it had to go into her tax file. So not only are these young people the future of my organization, they're the future of yours. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So much, Paula. Our next speaker here is Patrick. We're going to talk about the MIT study that some of you.
Yeah, and what an amazing message from Paula. That's fantastic. And it feeds right into what we're talking about today. How can we sort of invest in our young people so that in the long run, we're also investing in our entire community. So I'm not here to talk about the Durango School District today, and I'm happy to come back and tell you all about new school or housing and all that. But today I'm here to talk with Patrick to give an update on what happened with the MIT project. So we want to thank everyone who volunteered to be interviewed by MIT. I know several of you in the room did this. So I'll tell you a little bit about what this project was and what it is leading to. But first of all, about the collaborative, raise your hand if you've heard of the collaborative. Yeah, awesome. Hopefully, you just heard earlier, Sarah talked about how we're a partner, the organization is a partner in Project Front. So the collaborative was developed about a little over 5 years ago through Rural Collection and RISE grants that seeded money into this region to really see how can we, as 9 school districts in this area, along with PCC, Fort Lewis College, and also many industries, really address this issue of fueling the workforce pipeline, meaning getting our middle and high school kids prepared for great jobs of the future and having all of us work together on that mission and not duplicate efforts, but actually streamline that approach. And so we're really excited about the work that's being done with the collaborative. I will say we are at a point, those grants ran out, as they do. So right now it's being funded by the amazing Patrick Fredericks, who's our interim exec director. Going after grants and donors, and also all of the school districts do pay into this work to really make sure we have the right supply for our community. So some of the things that have been happening through the collaborative are a ton of different work-based learning opportunities, whether those are job shadows or summer camps, or whether that's big futures fairs, all kinds of opportunities in the 5 specific career fields that we focus on, but then also that feeds into every other career field. Industry grade equipment and tech access. So you might have seen things like the behind the drywall, the mobile learning facility labs that go around and support our school districts. Also, there's a mobile healthcare clinic. And in addition, the collaborative has funded equipment that goes into every single school district because we want every student to have opportunity and access. So whether that is equipment for the building trades or healthcare equipment, that's been really monumental. A lot of professional learning for educators, especially bringing together, for example, all the healthcare career pathway teachers, and then also making sure that this is all aligned in a scaffolded approach so students truly have an opportunity to have a career. I'm going to say we have a future project that Bayfield, Ignacio, and the Durango School District are working on. We're calling it ICON, a workforce development center that will be at the Florida Mesa School. That, happy to talk about, very exciting. But the reason something like that can happen is because the collaborative helped us work together, share courses, share teachers, share our processes. And so about MIT. So I think a lot of you know, I came from the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, and we had been selected twice by MIT for their USA Lab Host School. And I was able to see the tremendous impact that had on that community. It really created a revolution and such momentum in bringing the entire community together. So MIT, I think you've heard of MIT, their Sloan School of Management really selects the best MBA students in the world. And what they do is they choose 3 to 4 projects or places in the country every year where they will come in and offer their services and their expertise to help solve a sort of a wicked problem in the community. And so we had applied for this once before, we didn't get it. And this last year we were selected. And what happens is we have about 5 MBA students from MIT come down and they do this action learning project where they help focus on solving that problem. So they came here, they interviewed to really do a landscape analysis to see where are the workforce dynamics, what's going on. We really wanted them to help us figure out what processes should we be working on so we can streamline this approach to make sure our students are the correct supply prepared for meeting the demand in this community. They take a systems approach. So that's why they were looking at education, nonprofits, for-profits, public sectors. So that's why they interviewed hundreds of people. And then they proposed new ideas. They look at what is working around the world and how might we implement that. So I'm going to turn it over to Patrick, who's going to talk about what they found.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. We're pretty lucky to have Karen. Can you give her a round of applause, please? what the students spit out was like an hour presentation. That's not what I'm gonna give you today. I'm gonna give you kind of the highlights of here's what they found, here's some suggestions, and also here's what we're doing in response to those suggestions. So some of these things will not shock you at all of some of our workforce challenges in the region. Aging population, currently about 20% of our population is 65 and older. In 5 years, that'll be 25%. And so a lot more folks will be retiring. We know about housing, we've talked about workforce displacement. It's really interesting. I think we just heard about from Dan around the affordability of living here in Durango. I have a lot of friends that are my age or younger that live in Memphis, Ignacio, Bayfield, and they commute into Durango, right? And so they're having to live further and further away to live here or to work here in Durango. Wage mismatch. I'm sure people have heard of Durango Tango before, having multiple jobs just to survive. A lot of different things. I know I've encountered upward mobility, job diversity. Internships are really interesting. There's a big focus at the state level looking at internships. We have to also compete with the college itself. I'm pointing at Janae because Janae and I work together. But we have to compete for interns, right? And so a lot of times businesses rather work with that college level intern as opposed to that high school level intern. Disconnect on soft skills. I hear this everywhere I go. If these kids just don't know how to communicate and problem solve, I'm like, actually, they do. It just looks a little bit differently. So I think there's a mismatch on that definition on what we're actually considering with these students and how we're working with them. The school's actually a really good job on that. So I won't hit into all of these. So recommendations, industry focus, prioritize high need, high opportunity sectors. Those were the trades we know, education, healthcare, those were huge ones that are high demand and opportunity available right now. They want us to rethink our data strategy, which is I'll get to here in a second, around tracking student interest, alumni outcomes, and feedback. We do a good job already, but we need to move past participant data and more into impact. Where are they going? Where the pathways are? And community partnerships. So really deepening our relationships with local employers, which I think we've done a decent job of. We definitely can do better because I myself on half the hands raised in this room. And this is from behind the drywall. Students were doing welding over at PCC. So a lot of these students have never even touched a welding torch before and have a lot of fun, almost too much fun with welding. So what is currently being done? I'm also what's called a sector convener. And so getting industry together to talk about what are their problems, whether it's workforce, whether it's related to local policy procedures with government. But healthcare, we already heard with Sarah, sustainable trades, manufacturing, and broadband are currently happening. Data, we're looking at enrollment with all the schools. So we work with 7 public schools. We're looking at what are the enrollment looking like in the different pathways. Are they seeing an increase? Are we seeing a decrease in certificates, dual enrollment, work-based learning, all those things. And partnerships. I'm doing a lot of networking events. You probably see me at a lot of the chamber events. Informational interviews. So sitting down with industry and talking about what is your demand? What are you looking like in the next year to 5? And what are you actually hiring for skills-wise or certificate-wise? Work-based learning program trainings, we're a little bit all over the place, all across the region in a good way. The future, I really want to revisit next spring, early summer around the landscape and our pathways. So we currently support 5 pathways. Is that still the same pathways that we need to be focusing on? Those were past few years, really looking at workforce data, working with industry to determine, is that still where we need to focus? Is that still where we need to be? There already is a statewide data system. The state of Colorado is working on a data system for tracking these students and understanding their path from high school into college. And so that's already being worked on. That's like 2 years out. So we still have some work to do here locally to understand impact. Connection to college data. I used to work at Fort Lewis for about 12 years. It is really hard to compare data with higher education. Rightfully so. They need to protect the data. But I think we have a strategy of how are we understanding if our programs lead to enrollment at Fort Lewis or PCC as well. Build more internships, we talked about that already. Alumni data collection, and what I'm really excited about is parent feedback. And so students don't respond to emails, but I'm hoping their parents do. And so can we get parents to let us know where their students are at? What was the impact of the programs that we've been having as well? Almost there. So how can you help, right? There's a lot of different opportunities to help. There's a list of them here. We actually have a Futures Fair coming up in January. And so that'll be at the fairgrounds. It's like a tabling event. You can see M&R Plumbing here, or M&R Service, excuse me. Talking to students about what is plumbing, what is electrical, what does HVAC look like, right? And so it's a chance for kind of our middle school, early high school students to explore careers in our community, hearing directly from industry, which is a lot of fun. There is no cost for you to attend that. It's about a half a day, but you inspire students from all across the region, which is really cool. Lots of cool things. Happy to chat more. Paula also mentioned it. It is the season of giving. If this work speaks to you and you're looking for giving, I'm happy to have that conversation of where that can be the best impact with our organization, or Paula's as well. I'm sure can do the same. I can't speak for you, but nonprofit leaders, we're always like, hey, let's sit down and talk. Where would make the most sense? And so happy to talk about that. Or if you simply want to have mentor a student, if you want to host a job shed or a career day, if you're looking to be a guest speaker, we are the people that can help connect you to not just Durango Public Schools, but to schools all across the region. So let's make sure that we're spreading the wealth to all of our lovely schools in the region so we can keep our students here, keep our population thriving and growing as well. I talk fast. Questions? I summed up an hour presentation in like.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Hey. Liz Ray, the interim dean for the Katz School of Business.
Awesome, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's great to be in front of you today. Thank you for inviting me to be here. As I was introduced, my name is Liz Cartier. I am the interim dean of the Katz School of Business at Fort Lewis College. I just want to share with you a little bit of who I am, and then I want to talk about what the Katz School has been up to and how we love connecting with the community. So to start, there we go. Okay, I just wanted to share a little bit of who I am. I know many of you know my predecessor, Steve Elias, who is the dean of the Katz School for 8 years. I have been in the interim position now since July 1st. I have been a member of this Durango community for 22 years. My husband and I are local small business owners. We own Jabo's Pizza and Rib on Florida Road. We've owned it since, thank you. We have owned it since its start 22 years ago. And I'm happy to say that if you ate at Jabo's anywhere between 2003 and 2011, I probably made your food. I was a live there for a really long time. Then I started to get into academia and started to think about what education meant to me and how I wanted to give back to our community. So I ended up going back for my MBA, eventually my PhD, and Fort Lewis College has always been my North Star. My husband is an alum here and I am a true champion of Fort Lewis College. I love the fact that I'm a part of a Katz School because I believe in it, and I'm very proud to be the leader of it right now. So let me tell you a little bit about the Katz School. So one of the things I realized as I took over this position is that many people in this community do not know that we are AACSB accredited. AACSB accreditation in business schools is the highest accreditation that you can absolutely achieve. 30% of business schools in the United States hold that achievement, 5% in the world. And the Katz School of Business has held it since 1974. And I'm proud to say that because we are one of the first small schools to achieve this accreditation, and we have kept it. So we keep that through our rigor, our innovation, and our positive societal impact. With that, at the Katz School right now, we have 7 majors. We offer 2 degrees in Bachelor's of Science and 5 degrees in Bachelor of Arts. But what I think many of you are probably interested in here is we have 5 certificates. We have a new entrepreneurship certificate, we have a human resource management certificate, and we have 2 marketing certificates, one in general marketing, one in digital marketing, and then there's our ski resort operations certificate. All of these certificates are open to the community, and I'd like to encourage everybody to go there. We have some amazing faculty that are truly building on those certificates. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was the Katz School in this community. I actually want to start with these words I have down here. I believe that our shared success is how we succeed as a community. Every collaboration between Fort Lewis and any school system in their communities strengthens the regional business ecosystem. I truly believe that Fort Lewis cannot survive without this community, and I believe this community cannot survive without Fort Lewis. We need each other to succeed, and we do that in all educational spaces. In the Katz School, we have over 75 employers that are engaged with the Katz School, and I'll be honest, I put this stat up and I think this is low. I think we're more at about 100. Right directly with the Katz School, we have over, I would say, 100 businesses that are engaged with us. We have exactly 23 faculty members, full-time faculty members in the Katz School of Business. 22 of them are engaged in some way in this community, and the one who isn't really just started and moved here. So they'll get there eventually, okay? So our faculty members are connected. We know that our students are impacting this community. I can ask right now, how many of you are alum of Fort Lewis College? Yeah, love that. So we know our students are impacting our community, and we know in the Katz School, that's a huge connection for us. We also know that we are bringing these community events, and we can't do that with all of your help. We need your help in doing this. So we have our annual business summit, we have our hot tank, we have our student run marketing program. Truly, we are connected as a community to all of you up in Fort Lewis. I say to my students a lot, I know we're up on the hill and Durango's down here. We got to figure out a way to connect us more. Even though we're doing some good things, what can we do? So let me share what we're doing right now in the Katz School that I think many of you can connect with. Well, first of all,
you're all here today at the Center for Innovation, which is run by the very talented Elizabeth Kalagias and has been for quite a few years. At Fort Lewis, we're starting to think about Center for Innovation. We're starting to think about what this means for our community. So we've developed a strategic group that is looking at what the foundation of Center for Innovation is and how we can connect it more with the community. Both Elizabeth and I are representing the center and Katz School on that committee. We also have community members on it. We have some alumni on it. We have faculty on it. We also have administration on it. So really thinking about this center and what it means for this community and our connection between Fort Lewis and here. The second thing we're doing in the Katz School is we are working on AI integration, okay? We have recognized that AI integration into the Katz School is foundational for us to be successful and to build for our students. Many of you have probably heard of the AI Institute and the importance of the AI Institute in this community. We're bringing that up and really trying to attach that more to the Katz School to help our students with make data-driven decision-making. The other thing that we're doing in the Katz School, we've built a new marketing lab. So we have a lab that is developed to help students to think about digital marketing, to help them think about how they can help the community. Many of you have heard about our student-run marketing agency, and this marketing lab is going to assist that. We also have our Hawk Tank, and hopefully most of you have heard about Hawk Tank. We are going on 11 years of Hawk Tank. Really proud to say that. Dr. Michael Valdez is a rock star and has really championed that. Super proud of it. This year we have 4 tracks. We have a Fort Lewis track, we have an alumni track, we have a high school track, we have a San Juan track. So we're continuing to grow and we need as much community help with that as we can possibly get. We also have in the Katz School of Business Advisory Council. This right now is made up of 16 members. These 16 members give me advice, helping me connect with the community and are helping me build relationships. The last thing I want to share before I get to my last slide, one of the things that we're focusing on right now at the Katz School is how we can support students financially. We're building emergency scholarship. We're looking for donor partnerships. A lot of our students are having some financial challenges this semester, and we are trying to build that and help them. For example, I have 2 students that came to me that said, I'm supposed to graduate this year, Dr. Cartier. This semester, I can't afford it, okay? So we are really trying to build that and build how we can support students. Last thing, I'll just share with you a few of our events, and then I'll get out of your way. So we have our Southwest Economic Outlook. This is our 34th year. It is on January 6th from 8:30 to 12. We're developing that with Bank of Colorado, Jason Ports. Please come if you can. We also have our Four Corners AI Conference. This is our 2nd annual with the AI Institute. So please come with that as well. Both of these are free. Wonderful to meet you all. Thank you all for letting me be here.
Our community announcements, we have a photography showdown.
Well, thank you for including us. Before we start, I'd like to introduce Catherine Wagoner, who's the Executive Director of the Creative District in town. Next to her is Tyler Barnett, who is a Fort Lewis intern freshman, who's working for the Creative District on this project. And anyway, this is a brand new project that's been gotten onto a Kickstart with some local supporters, in particular the train. But the big reason why this is happening is the city of Durango and the Creative District who provided the funding grant to get this seed money to get this event started, which none of you have ever seen before. It basically features 5 local professional photographers who each gets up to 10 minutes to show their life's work on the big screen at Fort Lewis College. It's all set to music with DJ between. That's Michael Leffy's photo, Sean Stanley, Shan Aiken, who's a veteran. That's Nick Kogos, who works with City of Durango, and Divine Misty Boy, who's a member of the Southern Ute Tribe. And there's a lot at stake here. The best in show wins $1,000. The audience favorite, you get vote by a mobile phone, is another $1,000, and the train has put in another $1,000 for the train photo. But it's got to be our train. Ancillary to this we also have the Alpine Bank sponsoring a youth photo showcase. And so we've got over 50 kids from across the Plata County middle and high school who have entered photos. This one's by a 10th grader in Bayfield. This is a 7th grader from Miller and a 6th grader from Mountain Middle School. I just hope they're not downloading these photos off the internet because they are amazing, beautiful photographs. But these kids all get to be on display at the DAC for a week, and it's all free. And they each get win tickets to take their parents to the Pro Photo Showdown. The reason why I'm here, though, is to talk to you about the potential for economic opportunity with this event, because I've started a similar thing in Whistler, British Columbia that's been going for 28 years, and it's quite a driver. And essentially, I hope this can turn into a fundraiser for the creative district because they need one, because they keep expanding and going on. But this is what's called a first on event. So similar first on events would be the X Games or the Sundance or the Telluride Blues and Brews, something that nobody else has started yet, but once you start it, they will copy it. It can also be an anchor event to attract other things around it, and has very low production costs compared to so many different events. And if I didn't mention that the main event will be in the Fort Lewis Community Concert Hall on the big screen there. We had a rehearsal yesterday, and I can assure you that it is an amazing show. The other thing, if it's off season, this year's is a Wednesday, November 19th. And so I just would like to invite all of you to attend our main event on next Wednesday, to come to DAC next week and check out the student photography. And I just would like to say thank you so much for including us.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jack. And I know we're running just a little bit over, but we have one last community announcement, 1 minute.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so, hey everyone, my name is Lisa Poole, Southwest Regional Director for Senator Hickenlooper, and just a few updates. So I'm sure a lot of you are reading in the news that the government shutdown is coming to an end here with some pretty, votes are happening in the Senate, votes will happen in the House. There are some pretty tough negotiations between certain senators to make that happen. And so I just wanted to highlight a few of those negotiations. The continuing resolution will be funding the government through January 30th. I need to slow down so I can actually process my thoughts. I can't talk as fast as Patrick. So it ensures federal workers are paid, and then it also included certain, basically what we call a mini omnibus. So it funds certain agencies for the rest of the year. So it actually pays out their FY26 funding for military construction and veterans affairs and related agencies. The ag committee, so that includes SNAP. I know that's been in the news a lot, and this community has really come together around the SNAP issue, making sure people are getting fed. And then the last thing I'm just gonna highlight is it's around that deal is just a commitment for a future vote, which would hopefully happen in December around a 1-year extension of the ACA enhanced premium tax credits. And that would be held at a 60 vote threshold. So this was, definitely a big holdout, and that's why ultimately my boss didn't vote for this deal, because this promise wasn't enough for him. But I will say, we really need to continue to hear from people, because I am starting to really hear from the business community who have themselves or their employees been qualifying for the enhanced premium tax credits on the, whether that's through the, really it's just through the marketplace here in Colorado. So if you are seeing the new prices getting posted and you're like experiencing that sticker shock, we really want to hear from you, because the conversations are still actively happening. So please reach out to me. My counterpart from Senator Bennett's office, Wyatt Bear, is here in the room. We really want to hear from you.
How do we reach you? Phone, email?
Yeah, a lot of people in this room I have my business cards, and I think I'm sitting next to you, so I'll give you my business card. So please reach out. And then the other thing is tariffs. My boss cares deeply about how the tariffs are impacting the business community. So please, again, reach out if you're feeling those impacts. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you all for being here today and being a part of the conversation. We will have one last investor member meeting this year, and that is December 9th here next week. Thank you all.